Okay.
Great.
Great. So, hello and welcome to a very special episode, which has been booked through Foster First Ireland. And it's a fostering agency that offers social care services for children in Ireland. And today we're joined by one of their foster families, Deirdre and Amy. Very welcome.
Thank you, Maria. Thank you.
And I can't wait to listen to your story. And it's going to be really, really inspiring. But to get to know you a little bit more, could you tell us, how's your relationship today?
Good. Yeah, no, it's good. It's good. We kill each other, but that's a good thing, really.
That's
isn't
part
it?
of the deal, isn't it?
Yeah, no, Amy's very much part of our family. She's been living with us now. Well, you're not living with us now. She got married last December and you'd moved out a couple of years previous to that.
Yeah, I think it was 2012. I moved to Waterford and went to college, but I still
Yeah.
come home the odd weekends. And then I moved in with my now husband in February in 2019. So I'm home all the time. Like.
Yeah. So she moved into our family in 2007, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And was living with us until 2012, and she moved into college. But she said to herself, "This is home.
This is
isn't it?"
home.
Yeah,
Yeah, 100%.
So I mean, she got married from this house on the 1st of December last year.
Yeah.
So that's the link that's been maintained, since she joined the family.
Yeah.
What makes you say this is home? What's important for you to feel like this is home, Amy?
Your family. Like I always feel that they're my family, and if I ever need to go to anybody, it's these. So yeah.
Oh yes, she does.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's the
Always.
and
Everything.
That's brilliant. And what are the things? Would you share anything that's what made you feel like you had their support? What are the little stories or little things that show you that they're there for you?
So coming up to my leaving cert, junior cert was a big thing because I wanted to leave school, and they spoke to me and they said, look, it's best you stay in school and you do your milestones or whatever. Then what else could I say?
What other things? Because we've been through a lot together.
Yeah, there's been so much.
You've lost your mum while you're...
Oh yeah, my mom died when I was a year after living here. I was only after moving in a year, and mom passed away in the July.
So that kind of built the foundation of the relationship, because we got through what was a very, very difficult time.
Together. Yeah.
And we got through it.
And then there was...
And I think your family have always been... I think it's important.
How old were you, Amy, when you moved in there?
14.
14, okay.
Yeah, you were 14. Yeah.
And what was your experience before that?
So from the start, we moved. So we were living with our mom in Dublin, and then
you had siblings then?
An alcoholic. So me and my 3 brothers got taken into foster care, but they couldn't find a placement for 3 kids. So we ended up in Tala Hospital for months. And then Dermot, the kind of middle child, he left first. Then it was Dean, the baby. Dean was only 1 at the time. And then it was me, but we were separated. And then we found a home then for the 3 of us. But I was so used to minding the 2 boys that I couldn't adapt into them having a parent, there to bat them, change them, all that, because I was so used to doing it. Wow. So I had to be removed. And then I moved to Selbridge. No, I moved to Selbridge then after that. That was only for I think it was about 2, maybe 3 months. And then I moved in with my brother Dara, which was horrendous. There's no other way of putting it. Horrendous. And then I moved here then. Yeah. So I got taken out with my brothers and I moved in with my sister for, how long was it?
Oh,
I done our first visit here when I was living with Julie, wasn't it?
But you were only with her for a short
period. Yeah. It was only maybe 2 weeks, and then I moved down here.
You had 3 brothers, biological brothers, and 1 sister.
No, I have 8 brothers and 5 sisters biologically.
Hey, okay.
There's 2 families.
Yeah, there's 2 different families. So Mom had 9 kids and Dad had 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you in contact with any of them now?
No. Well, mom's kids, yes. Dad's kids, no.
Okay.
None of Dad's family I speak to, but Mom's family I'm very close to.
And how has this experience growing up has shaped you as the adult you are today?
It just makes you so strong. So strong. When I first came into foster care, I thought I was the only child. And that you'd be afraid because and you always feel like you're alone, but you're not, you're not. And then when you think about it, there is light at the end of the tunnel with the support of your family, and you know, it's lovely. It's lovely.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
Deirdre, how has this journey, what made you, what inspired you or made you decide to foster?
Okay, this is going to sound a bit corny, but I suppose one of my big inspirations for fostering was actually the lady who is now my link worker, who works for FFI. She's my FFI link worker, but we're local to each other. So she was a foster care, and I said, oh gosh, you know, I had a whole different life at the time. I was a retail manager for Tesco's, and she'd bring the, and I said, oh, that's something I'd love to do. I'd love to do. And then after the birth of my third child, I thought, you know what, I'd like to stay at home for a while and not be all career and, you know, spend some time with my children. So I just said to my husband, God, it's something I've always thought about doing. He's like, oh, I don't know, you know, like most men, oh, I don't know. And then I put it out of my head. And then there was an advertisement in our local newspaper looking for FFI to advertise for foster cares. So I never really knew how I'd go about it, thought about it, but who do you even, I mean, I didn't know about TUSA, who would have been the health boards at the time. I didn't know how to. So when I saw the advertisement, I answered it. And Faith, as it would be, I didn't even realize Margaret was a social worker at the time for FFI. She came up here to give us some more information about it. And to be fair, my husband very quickly, I think he's an amazing foster care. He very quickly came on board. So like as a whole family, one of the things I would say as a whole family, what's really important for people as well is to bring your whole family along. So anytime we were asked to take a new child, and we never just, oh yeah, we'll do that. We used to actually talk to because our children were quite young when we started. My youngest was 3, I think, and my eldest was maybe 7 or 8. So we'd talk to them about it, and we'd give them any bit of information we had about the child. It was a family decision to look after a young person. And having done that, then what we would do is we'd get the children to write a letter to the young person, tell them a bit about themselves, so because it was equally as scary for us as it was for the young person coming, because we didn't know anything about each other. So it was always nice to kind of have a little letter of introduction from our children to the young person. So they'd some idea, well, you couldn't really be prepared for coming into my house, but they'd some idea what they were letting themselves in for. And you know, just to follow on the whole inspiration, it's funny because I've followed very much in Margaret's footsteps. So I'm 17 years now, 17 years fostering. I actually went back because of fostering, because of really understanding how much I enjoyed working in that field. I went back in 2015 and did my degree in social care. And I just came out of Maynooth this year as a social worker. So I'm now a social worker as well. So it's been quite a journey.
We're so proud of her.
It's been quite a journey. Yeah. So I'll hopefully by September be practicing in social work as well. So, but that's all been inspired by what we do, you know. And okay, I went to do the social work, but actually without all the support around me. So we all did the social work to a degree, you know what I mean? Like, so yeah, so that's our story. Wow, so never looked back, loved every minute of it. Days where I felt like just walking and staying walking, don't get me wrong. And that's quite normal too. But you know,
but that's parenting as well.
Exactly. Yeah. If you put a pie chart in front of me, the most part of it is all positive, you know, and that outweighs the negative sometimes.
What has been the biggest challenge to date?
Biggest challenge, I think, has been we've had 1 or 2 with one placement breakdown, which was very difficult for us. Even Amy is affected by that. Amy would have lived with the young person. Generally speaking, our young people, when we stay in contact, and there's just this one particular placement that broke down and very kind of very traumatic. The background story is a young person, again from another country, who hadn't seen his mum for about 9 years, I think, at the time.
It was a long time.
And she came here and stayed in Ireland for about 6 weeks, I think, and then returned to her country. And that left him with an awful lot of open wounds and a lot of trauma. And not just him, but I suppose us trying to repair those wounds and maybe not been experienced enough to know we had to let the wounds seep as opposed to trying to plug them. So that would have caused the placement to break down. We were all very shook after that. That was very challenging. But we have times where, but I always think when a young person is giving us challenges, I always say to myself, it's only for the grace of God that it's not one of my birth children, because young people challenge you at the best of times. Do you know what I mean? So don't be too quick to say, oh, it's because they're in foster care, they're challenging me. Yeah. They've got so many other challenges themselves that sometimes they're bricked in, and they do these, the behaviors are a result of, I don't know what to do. So they challenge you, but it is only for the grace of God. It could have been my own kids. It wasn't, but that's just pot luck, really. So that's how we face the challenges, you know. And as I say, the biggest challenge of all is still sitting beside me. So we love her, really.
That's so nice. Amy, you just got married.
Yeah, I got married on the 1st of December.
And how was the wedding?
Oh, it was amazing. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. It was like my dream come true.
Can I say, I've never seen a bride put so much work in. She nearly drove us all berserk.
I did.
But she was brilliant. It was a brilliant day, and it was because of all the work that you did. You put fierce work into it. Oh my God,
there's so much to do. And my husband was no help. He picked one song and that was it.
Tired.
Everything else I've basically done, you know, by myself. Like it was grand. It was lovely. Yeah. I wouldn't do it again.
You won't.
Once is enough.
Once
is enough. You won't have
That's
to.
amazing. And what was so obviously you had lots of support, and you felt like, you know, it was fulfillment as well, a feeling of love and fulfillment and you know, all that guidance and everything that's been, it's just really showing on that day for you.
Yeah. Like if I had any issues at all with the wedding, all I had to do was come home and speak to Deirdre and Willie, and they'd calm me down and I'd be fine. I'd walk out then like a weight is lifted off my shoulder. It was amazing.
But I think a tribute to Amy as well, Maria, is just to mention who the wedding party were. So I've said already that one of our foster children was her bridesmaid. My own birth daughter was her bridesmaid.
My maid of honor.
Your maid of honor, sorry. My daughter was a maid of honor. Yeah. But her sister was also a bridesmaid.
My own birth sister. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And her best friend. So that's a tribute to Amy, that she's able to manage all these different strings in her life.
Yeah. That takes some skill.
Yeah, you know. Yeah. And they all converge to be bridesmaids, you know what I mean? So
such a lovely day.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So what's your relationship with your siblings now? Oh, sorry, with your sister, you have a good relationship?
Yeah, I'd be close enough with my birth siblings, yeah. We speak nearly every day, and I still try and get up to Dublin when I have a chance. And I've only recently had a little nephew. He was born only 4 weeks ago, Leo, so he's actually my godson as well. So it's great excitement. Yeah.
So what makes you, so you, as Deirdre is saying now, it takes some skills and willingness and commitment to keep the family together, and that's in any family.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
I don't know.
Communication.
I think it's just with contact all the time, and then you try and meet up as often as you can. And like, look, don't get me wrong, sometimes you could go weeks without speaking, but as soon as you answer the phone or pick up the phone, it's like you haven't, you know, it's like still like you've been talking every day. So I don't know, I think it's just visits and phone calls and keeping in touch. Like that's the main thing, do you know? Yeah. To keep it.
And Deirdre, what support is available for parents when you're fostering?
Well, for example, when that particular placement that I've spoken about broke down, FFI offered me psychological support, because it was very, you know, you tend to think, what if I'd done this different? What if you blame yourself very much for the placement breakdown? And the psychological support was invaluable there. All of and Amy will relate to this, when our young people in care are going through education, we have the supportive education liaison officer to contact the school. Did they get you grinds? It was grinds.
They did actually.
Claire Sweeney. A lot of the children were given extra education support through FFI. My link worker, depending on how the family are coping at a time, my link worker is available for me, always on the phone, and I have visits either monthly or bi-monthly. And you know what? I suppose for me, what makes FFI stand, this is a simple little thing, but it is simple, but it's not simple. You know, I don't know, when you do well in a review, or when you fostering appreciation day, box of chocolates arrive in the post, or flowers arrive. And you know, they don't understand how important that is. You know what I mean? Because it makes you feel part of a bigger thing. It's a reminder there's other people. You're not on your own always. And it's really important not to be on your own. Support groups, and I should just mention that if you've got, you know, we've support groups run by FFI, attend your support groups whenever you can, because it's great to hear, I'm not my, oh, that's how somebody else managed it. That's it. So use all those kind of supports that are put for you. They're there for a reason, and they really do work, you know. And then just you need as a family, the whole family need to, you know, like Amy would have progressed on from being one of our foster children to being a family member who also supported people coming into our care. You know what I mean? Like, so you can appreciate that too. It had to be a family effort.
It had to be a family effort,
And there's days where it would, you just think, oh, that's it, I'm finished, I'm done. But tomorrow's another day. Move on to the next day. Things will get better, you know.
Yeah. How many more children have you fostered?
In total?
Yeah.
Oh God. I ballpark, she's counted. I suppose between respite and if it was long term, maybe about 10.
13.
Oh no. The three with three, with a sibling group of 3. Maybe 13 full time. But if we were to do maybe about 30 children between respite and, you know, coming for a week.
What are the different options? Would they stay 24/7, and then there's other options that come and go daily or weekly?
No, so the 24/7 would be what we would call match long term, or they might not start out as a long term match. Not like I'm imagining many years ago Amy came as short term. You know, you start and then you're reviewed every couple of months, see how the place is, which is really important too, because, you know, I don't mean this in a bad way, you're not always going to like a young person. You know, we don't love everybody in the world. It'd be an ideal world if we all, and the young person isn't always going to like the family they're with either. So it's really important that the matching is done properly. So once you can see that things are going well, the child can become long-term. But we would have often had, say, young people who are long-term in other houses, but maybe the child and the family need a break, or the family have a crisis, and we would look after their young person for a short time then. So we do that, quite a bit of that now, because I suppose I'm working full-time now. I was at home when we first started, but I must say as well that when you're experienced and you know what you're doing, FFI have been really, really accommodating with allowing, you know, saying, well, maybe she's not there 24/7, but Willie can always fill the gaps that she can't fill, you know. But they wouldn't have known that initially. So they've been very flexible with us as a family, because we know ourselves, because we love what we do, because we love fostering. We're good at it. You're always good at something you enjoy doing, you know. And I suppose FFI have shown an awareness of that and said they will be flexible around what we're available for, because we make it work, you know, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. What would you say? What would be your advice or your encouragement to say to anyone considering fostering?
Do it.
Do it.
Honestly, I'm even planning to foster.
She's planning to foster.
100%. Do it. It's the best thing you'll ever do. It is though.
But do it with your eyes open, and do it with, one of the things experience has taught me this as well. Like, I suppose when Amy came to live with us, we were going to save all the Amy's in the world, and we were going to pluck them from this horrendous life they live, and we were going to save, you know, and we didn't. I suppose as time goes on, you realize you can't save people. You don't save people. What you do is you offer them your home, your love, your security, your safety. But you've got to understand, you don't save or change the person. Amy is still as cracked as the day she moved in with us, you know. We've never tried to change Amy. So what we do is live with the child, accept the child for who they are. You're not going to change the trauma that's happened to them in the past, but you can sometimes soothe them through the trauma. So I haven't saved anybody. And actually, a lot of the young people have so enhanced our lives, and we didn't see that coming. We didn't realize what they would add to our family. So you go in with these so keep your expectations. Don't have these huge well, you will have. There's no point in saying don't have huge aspirations, because you will have. But allow yourself to grow and mold and appreciate you know, just grow with the process, and it's a lovely thing to do, and go for it.
Go for it.
Unfortunately, anybody who ever says the word, oh, I've thought about it, or I've wondered about it, to me, it's a bad idea, because I'd say, do it, go for it, you know. But I'm a real advocate of fostering. It's hugely enhanced our family. So yeah, would definitely recommend to anybody to do it.
Yeah, and it's linked to your own guilt as a parent as well, isn't it? Because if you feel like you have to take full responsibility for their trauma and their challenges and everything, that's going to make you feel so guilty that, you know, you just said you can't change that person. Offer a base, a safe base, guidance and support, so they can
absolutely
then develop. And
but that's something that you do learn, and it's something to be aware of, because I would have always been conscious of my own need to mother, you know. So once I'm aware of it, I can manage it. Do you know what I mean? So it's knowing your limits as well, knowing your own limits, and be 100% sure why you're getting into it, you know. And it might be something that's an obvious. I can't say there was an obvious reason I wanted to foster. I just did, you know. But just be self-aware, be aware of yourself as you're getting into, because that's where you protect yourself too, and your family, and the young person you're looking after, by self-awareness. Very important.
Yeah, absolutely. And Amy, what would you say to any children or any adults, and not adults, anyone in foster care?
I would tell them to do it. That would be the best decision that they ever made. And for kids going into care as well, there's light at the end of the tunnel. You know, your life is not over just because you're in foster care. You're not the only one. People have been through it, they've come through it. You know, look at me, like, you know, at the end of the day, I think it's an amazing thing. And I personally don't think I'd be where I am today if it wasn't for Deirdre and Willie. And I always
to do as well with your own attitude towards life.
That's it, like, yeah, but it's fair. No, it's a lovely thing to do. It really is.
Yeah, that's amazing. I'm just so inspired right now, and I think your relationship is just so beautiful. You're so connected to each other. It's just amazing.
Yeah, it was such a lovely bond.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
At times.
Can I just add one more thing to that, which I think is really
absolutely.
important, and I don't know if the message has come across from myself and Amy. You know, one thing that I again, maybe with experience, we learn, if you're going to foster a child, a child doesn't come alone. They come with family. They come with baggage.
Yeah.
You've got to be prepared to accept everything with the child, not just the child that stands in front of you. It's really important. So to engage, like, we would never, and I think that's something that maybe we learned a lot off Amy over the years. Amy doesn't judge anybody. She's very non-judgmental.
Yeah.
You know, you have a good snot about people sometimes, but it's never deep. It's never, you know, and that's something that we've learned over the years, that none of us are perfect, you know. So if you're looking after a young person, please be prepared to take everything with the young person. That's really important, you know, and accept the young person for everything that they bring with them. I think that's important.
The most important thing.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Amy, if you could talk to your younger self, what would you say to her?
Gosh, what would I say? Yeah, do your leaving cert. School. I know, I done all that. No, kind of what would I say to myself? Like, I was very scared going into foster care. Like, it was the most terrifying thing ever. I remember pulling into this driveway and I was like, I'm not getting out of the car. I came from Dublin. We went through, where did we go through? We went through Abbeyleix, Sturrow. I was like, why is every part of the town's getting smaller? Like, I didn't know what was happening. And then we came from Durrow into Cullihill, and I was like, oh my God, there's fields, there's cows. I've never seen a cow my whole life. I didn't even know what they were, but no, it was scary at the start, but it was, I don't know.
You'll be okay, you know. I think Amy is
okay. Like, oh God, they'll be okay, and they'll get through it. And like, if they hit a rocky patch in their life, just know that they can talk to people. That, I think that's the main thing as well. Communication. You know, a lot
I suppose there's a bit of fear as well, that because the adult in their life hasn't been there for them, they might be scared of trusting others.
Yeah, no. But that's what your foster parents are there for.
Exactly.
To help you. Do you know, 100%.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking back to the Amy that first came to us, and there's the stairs behind me here. And is it okay to tell?
Yeah, it works. Sure? Yeah, 100%.
And the first few weeks that she was here, if I was in the kitchen and it was fine, you'd be aware she'd be pottering around you. But if I went upstairs, next thing, Deirdre, and that was her saying, I'm really scared. Are you gone? Have you left me? Are you here? Where are you? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And having patience with that, and gazillion times coming down the stairs and saying, it's okay, I'm only upstairs. I told you I would be up, and reassured.
Yeah, that's it.
And eventually the message gets through.
And imagine, I actually can't remember that.
She doesn't remember
that.
No.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
But still the message sunk in.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah. Or like you'd be worrying, going, where are you going? When are you coming back? And stuff like that as well.
Yeah.
And as a foster care, just have patience with that. That's all.
Yeah.
That's all very understandable.
Like a child is going to be so scared at the start because realistically they've been taken away from their family.
Yeah.
They've been taken away from the place they know.
Yeah.
They're going into a different family, a new place, somewhere else to get used to. But they will, it's all scary at the start. It's just a thing of getting used to, you know, and realizing you're not the only one. That's the main thing, because that was the one thing I always had growing up going, why is it me? Why was it me? I'm the only one, but you're not.
Yeah.
And do you know what? It was only when I moved here, I met actually a load of other people in foster care. And I remember looking around going, oh my God, there's actually so many of us.
Yeah.
But you don't realize because you always think that you're the only one, but you're not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also make you feel maybe that you did something wrong when you actually didn't.
That's it. Yeah.
Knowing.
Yeah, you're always thinking like, why was it me? And why did I get put into this position? Why was it nobody else? But at the end of the day, it makes you the person you are today. That's I feel that I can take on the world. It takes a lot to get me down, a lot, but I just feel like it's from the life I had. It built me as a stronger person. Yeah.
And what are the things you can do as a foster parent to earn their trust? And you said that reassurance that you're there for them, but what are more specific things?
I think as a foster,
that connection.
Everything I've discussed already, patience and understanding where the child's coming from and being able to separate the behavior from the person. Do you know what I mean? Amy is not Amy certainly is not the young person who came here and was shouting up the stairs looking for me. That was all the trauma of what she'd been through, and having an understanding of that and having the patience and the understanding to allow the young person to work through that. That is there's no magic potion. There is no magic potion. Time, patience, love, reassurance. They're the kind of words I would use. That's the only way you can support the
sometimes child. What a young child needs as well is a cuddle.
Sometimes,
oh my God,
you, Amy. Sometimes 100%. Just a hug.
You just need a cuddle.
Yeah.
The worse the behavior, the bigger the hug, isn't it?
Oh, 100%. Even if they're doing wrong, I always found if I was giving Deirdre a willy cheek, all they do is grab and hug you, and it's gone.
No, that's
it
very
just
releases
point. Everything.
Yeah.
A hug helps everything. 100%.
And believe it or not, and I don't know if I've ever said this in front of Amy before, that can be something you're kind of scared to do as a foster care initially, because you don't know, and that's something obviously we have to get to learn the child a little bit first, because a hug could mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. And so it's not something I would never rush in and hug a child in day one, even day 2 or 3. But you get to know the child.
You warm up to the child.
You warm up,
and you can tell by the child if that's something they want.
Yeah, exactly.
I was always a very cuddly person.
Yeah, still always cuddly.
That's beautiful. That's so empowering, and I think you've shared all the information that can help parents who are considering, or adults who are considering fostering, and how positive it can be, how rewarding and fulfilling it can be for everybody. And there is learning on everything we do, on the learning in this and the learning that every person brings into our own life. It's just absolutely massive.
Absolutely.
Would you like to share any other stories that you remember together?
Oh God,
where do we start?
What was another one?
I think even Dean and Dermot coming down as kids.
Like my 2 little brothers, they actually got adopted. That was, remember I said that there was a house that we were putting the 3 of us together. That family actually adopted my 2 little brothers. But they used to come down here all the time, and we used to bring them down to the farm. They used to think it was the best thing in the world. I actually have a picture of them still sitting up on Willie's tractor, and they thought that they were the bee's knees. Going back to Dublin, going, "Oh, I was on a tractor," like, you know.
But my funny memory of it is they would be brought down by their social care worker, you know, and she was lovely, but she was quite nervous. And I think she was as unused to farms as the two boys were, you know, and she'd be like, "Oh, but they're going to be smelly going back, and will they, you know, what will they be?" And smelly, they'd have muck up to their knees, they'd throw on wellies, and but you know that was really important for Amy, that it was, you know, we included her family in her life here. That's what I was trying to say earlier. You know, don't try and separate the child from who they are. Accept the whole package. Take the whole lot with you.
Because I remember even my Debs coming home from school one day, and my brother Elo was here, my sister Julie, my brother Paul. They were all here waiting for me, which I was shocked at because they kept it a surprise. But they had them all here waiting for me the day of my Debs, and it was just lovely. It's nice to have your family and then your second family, as I would always say. You know?
But we've had lovely cultural experiences as well. I have a picture somewhere of the young person who was her bridesmaid. She's Ethiopian, and so we've learned so much about that culture. You know, and we know the coffee now, we know is a big ritual in Ethiopia, you know, the amount of coffee and how you drink it. But I have a lovely picture somewhere of this room here. She'd gone out and pulled grass from outside because she was missing home, you know. So she'd laid all pulled grass out on the floor here. And my tree, again, were very young at the time. I don't know where you were at the time, but it's just the young person and my own 3 children in the picture. But they're all sitting on this mound of grass in the middle of the floor. And here she's making coffee for them.
And that's something they would do as part of their culture.
Oh yeah. And that was, and actually the coffee pot, and a really nice story, the coffee pot that they pour from, it's called a jebana, right? And this young person was too young leaving Ethiopia to have her own jebana. And you know, people going back and forth, there'd be people, I always found people would be saying, "Oh, if you want to," "Oh, but no, a jebana would be too heavy to bring back." But my brother lives in Arizona and has lived for years. And when he was coming home to visit, he brought her first jebana, her first cup, my brother. Wow. So when we go to visit her now, she lives up in Balbriggan. When we go to visit her, and actually her 2 little girls, this really gets very corny here now, I'm sorry. Her 2 little girls were Amy's flower girls.
Flower girls,
That was her nephew.
That was my nephew. Hudson.
Yeah.
Is your nephew
her jebana on display? Sorry, Marie.
Is your nephew from one of your 2 brothers?
My biological brother. So it would be my brother Paul, his son. Okay. He was my page boy. And then my husband's nephew, 2 nephews were a page boy, and it was just one more of his nephew was a page boy as well. And then his niece was one of my flower girls too.
And then our other foster daughters, 2 girls.
2 girls were flower girls as well.
Yeah.
Wow, I love how
it's all mingled. Yeah.
It was lovely.
Yeah.
And I don't want to paint it for anybody who's thinking about it. It's not all sweetness and light and roses. There are difficult times. But I'd always say there'll be a good time again coming. It won't stay like that.
Else as well, it's to think of the support you have.
Yeah.
You know, like if a foster parent is having a hard time, like go for a walk. Call your social worker. You know, have a natter on the phone and come back. Refreshed.
Relieved, exactly.
You know,
it's great advice, Amy. If you give it to me.
No.
She's ready to foster.
She's ready to foster.
God, I'm going to say one thing as well. I cannot wait to start fostering. Cannot wait. I want them all. I want them all.
Worse than I ever was.
Amy's on a mission.
But I think for a foster child that I want to take on in my future, like in all the foster homes I've lived in, you've never had a foster mother say, "I was in your shoes. I was in foster care." And I just think for a child, that is just such an important thing for them to look up at you and go, "Oh my God, you were where I was. You understand me. Like you were in my shoes once before."
Would you go and do talks for children in foster care to talk to just to go and talk to them?
100%. Yeah, I would.
That'd be so inspiring for them.
Yeah, I
She's
really
a
you said-
newlywed though. We've to give her a chance.
Yeah. Honeymoon.
But yeah,
first.
no, I would 100% love to do that. Yeah.
That will make a difference.
Yeah.
That's
Just to let
amazing.
them know that it's all going to be okay. Like,
Yeah.
that's the main thing. It's
Yeah.
all going to be okay.
Yeah,
you
no,
know?
I think what you said earlier that, not thinking it's only happening to you or you
Yeah.
did something wrong.
That's very important.
That's just the end of it, because then what else is there? But once there's other people who have gone through the same, there's nothing wrong with you. You're such an amazing
Not a
human being. It
thing.
has so much to
Yeah.
give. You just have to have the right circumstances for you.
Yeah,
And you can make it
exactly.
happen. That's
Yeah,
so powerful.
exactly.
Yeah. But even if you go into a foster home and God forbid it breaks down, like that's not on you either. Do you know, like
Yeah.
I always feel like it's very important for the child not to carry any load as in saying, oh, that was my fault. I done that when it didn't. Like sometimes things just don't work out and that's it. Like that's life. Do you know? Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing your story.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us.
It was amazing.
We both like to talk, as you can
Yeah.
tell, so.
Yeah, we'll meet for coffee next time.
Oh, definitely, definitely. Sounds like a date.
I love it. Thank you so much.
Brilliant.
Thank
Thanks a
you.
million for having us.
Yeah.
Thank you. Take care.